How's it going, guys? And welcome to another episode of the Black Metal Rebellion. I'm going to be doing a few of the answers to some of your questions for the Q&A. I'm probably going to do them in like 10 or 15 minute intervals. So, long hair. Pros of being a metalhead. But yeah, I'm probably going to do them in about 10 or 15 minute intervals just to keep it short and just to keep things kind of quick. And just make it a couple parters just to fill up some space and time, because I got some cool stuff after this that you're going to be interested in. But I want to keep this going for a bit. As you can see, I like to ramble on. So here we go. Necro Lee. He asks, being from Canada, have you heard of a show called Much Loud on Much Music back in the day? Well, yep. I am from Canada, and I have indeed heard of Much Loud. If it wasn't for Much Loud, I wouldn't have heard of half the bands I did back in the day. A lot of them weren't like super duper like heavy or anything like that. Much Loud introduced me to bands like Corrosion of Conformity, Thumb, and just kind of like more random old school death metal bands that I had no idea what I was listening to back in the day. But yes, I did listen to Much Loud. It only came on once in a blue moon, and I was lucky if it wasn't scrambled, because I don't think my parents at the time were ever subscribed to the Much Loud channel. So yeah, I did get to see it every now and then, and it was a good show. Metal JJ asks, do you still listen to deathcore? Well, yeah, man, I do. But not a lot recently. When I do listen to metalcore, deathcore, it's usually stuff like early deathcore. So Born of Osiris's first album, or like the first couple of Whitechapel albums, being Somatic Defilement, or The New Era of Corruption, or the one that I don't have that I still need to get, being This Is Exile. So their second album, I need to get that still, even though I don't really listen to deathcore, but I still want to get it. I also still want to get the Cleansing by Suicide Silence, because that was one I really did enjoy. Seconds from the end, what's it gonna be? Pull the trigger, bitch. Like, I remember hearing that like forever ago, and it was pretty sweet. So I like that. On a side note, not really big into Emure, I guess is the name of it, or too much other stuff. I used to have a fucking Acacia Strain album, The Dead Walk or something like that. It was okay. Definitely wouldn't be into any of their new stuff. I used to have Despised Icons The Morning, I don't know. Whatever that album was, it was okay, but I also sold it too. I sold like a lot of my metalcore and deathcore just so I could have money to get some new slam or new black metal. So, but I do still, on occasion, still listen to deathcore. So, yeah, I do. All right, next up is quite a few questions. Not that that's a problem, but quite a few questions from Takis on Antonio Gorestone. I apologize if I'm not saying your name right, bud. I suck at pronouncing foreign names unless it's like German stuff, and even then, don't quote me. Okay, so anyways, the first question that Mr. Gorestone asked me was, what are your thoughts on Necros Christos? To be honest, I still have not gotten around to listening to them yet. I will do that in the future and let you know what I think of them. But I still just unfortunately haven't gotten around to doing that because I'm a fucking space cadet. He also asks, what are a few things you hate or dislike the most? Now if you just mean in general and not music related, I hate wet socks. Like, I fucking hate walking into the washroom after someone's been in there and had a shower and just like they haven't cleaned up the floor, and I walk through their wet puddles, and then I have to like walk around in squishy socks and it's all on my toes and shit. Hate that. Absolutely hate that. What else? I'm not a big fan of being late. I hate being late for things. I like to be punctual, especially if it's for something really, really important and I'm trying to make a first impression. If somebody makes me late, I go fucking berserk. I hate that. I'm a pretty oh, studious. I don't know. I don't know what the fucking word is, but yeah, I like to be on time for shit. Another thing that I hate the most. People cutting me off when I'm trying to talk to them. I'm trying to explain something or answer a question they ask me, and they don't bother to finish, let me finish, like, saying what I need to say, and they cut me off. That pisses me off. I definitely hate that. There was something else I wanted to say, what I hate the most, but I can't remember it right now. So it's obviously not that important. It probably was, but I'm just an idiot and forgot. All right. Third question. Are you into horror films? What kind of horror films are you into the most? Well, just to give you an idea, all of those that you see there, all of those are horror films. And as you can see behind me, I've got a Jason X poster, and I've got a Halloween poster. I also had a Halloween Resurrection poster where that Batman poster is, but that shit would not stay on the wall, so I had to take it down. But yeah, I love horror movies. The kind of horror movies I used to enjoy the most were the like stalker killer type, so like Jason, Michael Myers, fucking Freddy Krueger, or things like that. But I also enjoy like the Child's Play series, the Hellraiser series is fucking fantastic. I love the Hellraiser series. The first two, everyone seems to love the most. They're okay, but I don't know. I tend to like Hell on Earth, the third Hellraiser, Bloodlines, and Hell World the most. Inferno and Hellseeker, they're okay. They're more of like psychological Hellraiser films, and they're just kind of like it fucks with your head. But yeah, so well, for the most part, I like the horror stalker kind of horror movies where there's like a dude in a mask and a getup who's like just out to kill everyone in his path. However, I have recently got into things like the Jason Blum series and the James Woo series of things. So, like fucking... Someone's not happy. I don't know if you can hear my kid in the background. He's a little upset about something. I'm sure the wife is giving him crap for all his toys in his room that he doesn't pick up, because he does that a lot. Anyways, holy sidebar, Batman. But where the fuck are they? I'm ranting and raving. Okay, yeah, so like the Twisted Pictures ones, and like Sinister, Insidious, Dark Skies was pretty good, The Conjuring, Oculus, Annabelle, Possessed was a decent one. So anything by Jason Blum or James Woo, I really liked. I love the Saw series. That was probably one of like the most brutal horror films that I ever seen back in the day, like Saw 1 and 2. Holy shit. But yeah, I'm actually really looking forward to them potentially finishing off the series and doing 7, 8, and 9, because I heard there were supposed to be 3 trilogies, like the first 3, and then up to number 6, and then I heard they're supposed to be doing 3 more after that. I know a lot of people are like, oh man, the Saw series is so played out. There's only so much you can do after Jigsaw is dead, blah, blah, blah. Like, but there isn't. There's more that they could not be telling us. Like, at the end of the last one, spoiler alert, by the way, fucking all the people that have been victims and survivors of Jigsaw band together into this weird little cult group at the end. That has to go somewhere. That looks cool as fuck. Next question is this is a good one. Is Babymetal a good gateway metal band for kids? Um, well, it's interesting. Depends on how old the kids are. I think you said your kids were like around 4 or 5. Um, well, I don't know if influencing your kids to listen to metal is necessarily a good thing. Depends on what metal you're, pardon me, introducing them to. I wouldn't suggest introducing them to things that have like a lot of profanity, a lot of sexual content, a lot of gore or anything like that. Um, so it's kind of hard to say. Like I wouldn't recommend like introducing kids to that kind of material until like they're in their teens, like 13 at the very earliest age, maybe. Um, because what you want to do is just maintain their innocence for as long as they can before shit just starts going south. Because they think life's bad now. Like they've only felt the tip of life's stick. Okay, it gets a shit ton worse. So really, you just want to maintain their kidness and their innocence as long as they can without introducing to all this garbage. Like if they have like innocent questions, sure, answer it and whatever. Be like as logical and as like kid friendly as you can. So it's not good to cradle them, but at the same time, it's it depends on the type of metal. I would say Babymetal is a decent band for 5 to 10 year olds to listen to. Like there's the young Japanese girls are you know very presentable to the kids. They like them. They laugh. They're cute, and they have interesting schoolgirl uniforms. So I guess young kids can relate to that and stuff. The lyrics, from what I'm aware, isn't that grotesque or like offensive or anything that could potentially lead them in a bad direction. So yeah, I mean, I'd say it's a good gateway metal band if you really think that you can influence what your kids listen to. The thing is, not to be a parent and parent you, but kids are going to listen to and watch what they want to watch. They're going to listen to and watch the things that interest them. You can only present them with material and let them go with that from there. You can't, twist their arm. You're like, you're listening to this, you little shit. Like, that's not how it's going to work. Because the more you pressure kids to do something, the more they're going to push back and they're not going to want to do it. So I would try not to like force them to listen to anything. Maybe just present them, like I said, with some material. If you want to play Babymetal around them and they like it, cool. But yeah, to shorten that right up, yeah, Babymetal is a decent and okay band for kids to get into metal with. And I'm going to cut this off with the last question here from Mr. Gorestoned. He says, do you drink or smoke? What is your honest opinion on weed? I've briefly touched on the subject of marijuana and weed in a couple of my older videos. I do drink, but it's not like to excess. It's just whenever we have the extra money to be able to afford a couple of drinks to just relax in the evening after a stressful day, we'll have like one or two. But yeah, I mean, I do drink. I'm not like straight edge. I'm not like, oh my God, I don't drink. But I also don't abuse the alcohol. I don't like have 6 or 7 or 8 or 9 beers or like shot after shot or shot, like, because it's not great to set that kind of example for the kids. I mean, they're in bed by the time any drinking goes on anyways, so they're not here to see it. But, if they do happen to wake up in the middle of the night and daddy's shit-faced, that's not going to go over well. So I tend not to, indulge too much. So, like I said, man, like 1 or 2 drinks and that's it for me, unless we've got a babysitter and we're going out to a bar to see a show or something. And even then, the fucking bars charge an arm and a leg for a drink, like anywhere from $5.50 to $8 a drink. So I'm not going to have too many anyways. Now, about the weed thing, I mean, the drink or smoke. I mean, I don't smoke cigarettes, never have. I think I tried a cigarette once when I was in like high school just to see what the fudge it was about, and I'm like, ew, this tastes like assholes, and now I smell like shit. That's awesome. Why do I want to taste something that's you know why? It's just the smell thing, man. I couldn't do it, and the taste is just gross. There's no point. Vape, I guess, if you really really want to smoke something, at least it's flavored, and at least you don't smell like shit, and it has a bunch of cool accessories. I don't know. I don't vape either. So as for marijuana, I don't know, man. Any type of drugs that people abuse is never good. If you're just using it the same way that I use alcohol, and you just want to take the edge off at the end of the day, you've had a stressful day at work, or whatever, cool. Like, have a joint, take a hit from a bong or something, relax, chill out, fine, whatever. I'm not gonna preach to you what to do or what not to do. I don't smoke weed. I did it a couple times in high school. I don't like the feeling that I get while I'm on it. It makes everything go fucking super slow, for one, and my vision goes from like normal perspective to and like cloudy. So to me it looks like I'm in a dream state. So everything's like that and slow. And normally whenever I blazed up with my friends, we were normally on a mission to go walk somewhere, and it was like 20-30 minutes away. So like, fucking man, my legs would get so sore, and it would just seem like it took forever, and I would overanalyze everything, because everything you look at you kind of zone into and fucking forget about what the hell you're doing. And it was not enjoyable for me. I did it a couple times just to see what the big hubbub about it was. Yes, I use words like hubbub. But yeah, no. After those couple of experiences, and I just didn't like it. It did nothing for me. And the fact that in Ontario it is still illegal to actually, be under the influence of weed or have it on you or anything like that. So I'm not a big fan of having things that could potentially put me in jail. So yeah, no, that's a big no for me on weed. And once it gets legalized here in Ontario, if it ever does, thanks to Justin Trudeau, then I'm still not going to smoke it, because it's not my thing. But I'll be happy for other people that aren't going to get incarcerated or put in jail because of a plant. And there'll be less drug dealers around, because now, the government's dealing out weed. And there'll be less, it'll just be less criminalization and less people getting fucked over because of something that just grows out of the ground. It'll be honestly nice when it gets legalized. And even my points against weed, it doesn't matter. Just don't abuse it. Don't abuse anything. Just all in moderation, my friends. Anyways, that's the end of that. Besides all that, like the potential medical implications that the oils from herb and stuff like that can give, that's great. I mean, I'm glad I can help cancer patients and stuff like that. That's cool. I'm honestly just not a fan of smoking anything, like setting it on fire and breathing in the ashes and the tar and just all. It doesn't seem like a very smart idea. I mean, I'm Native. My ancestors like burned stuff and smoked and to get spiritual with their ancestors. Thanks, guys. Thanks, ancestors, for helping the white man with that. I mean, not that I'm pasty as fuck. I don't see the sunlight. But anyways, that's my take on it. I've become a little more relaxed on things since my earlier years, but yeah. So that's how I feel about that. Thanks for watching. I'm gonna do part 2. This has actually gone on to be 20 minutes, anyways. Stay sick, and if anyone gives you shit, tell them to go fuck themselves. See you in the next Black Metal Rebellion episode.